the Biofriendly Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.
You know what's crazy is the technology was already in the Mac. They just decided to take the governor off of it. That's just how it works.
That's the most Apple thing I've ever heard.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's like, oh no, that's
It's like, well, yeah, we could do it, but if you did it, then you'd have too much power, and we can't allow that.
We can't allow that. They've built the MacBook already up to like 2045.
Yeah.
They're just gradually taking off like tech holds and locks.
Yeah, that MacBook, if you needed it to, could drive your car.
Oh yeah. It's listening. It knows when I'm sleeping.
It could, while you were asleep, it could build by itself, without any help, it could build by itself a thermonuclear power plant.
Yeah, do you ever wonder that? If that out there in the world right now...
Thermonuclear power plant? Sorry.
Yeah, thermonuclear power plant. I think I worked at a thermonuclear power plant, maybe?
No, not a thermonuclear.
Not a thermonuclear. No. What's thermonuclear? That's a different kind of nuclear power plant.
Well,
thermonuclear?
here's the
It sounds
deal.
like something from an Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
Like thermonuclear power
generator.
plant.
No, yeah, maybe you did. I don't know.
I worked in a...
I don't know. Here's the problem, right?
Okay.
Here's the basic issue with my knowledge on Earth. Okay.
I love that we're going to distill this into one or two sentences, right?
Yeah. The basic problem is I did not learn that it was important to know things until I was done with school.
This is true. This is true for me too.
So like there's biology class, there's chemistry class, there are these classes, and I vaguely remember that they occurred.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot of stuff that I'll have to catch up on.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be like, oh, I need to know about that. I want to find out about that.
Right.
And then I'll read about it, and then I'll find out, and then I'll go crazy on it, and I'll just take forever on it and dig into it pretty hard. And
he goes crazy. He comes in here and just yells about what he's learning.
I do. I get so excited because I do. I love.
You do.
I learned so, like, it was the oddest thing after college was over. After I realized that being here's what college taught me. I went to acting school. It's gonna be a long story.
I'm ready for it. I also went to acting school. Well, I started there, but go on.
I graduated from acting school and everything. I did it.
Yeah.
Here's what I learned at acting school. Don't be an actor.
Don't be an actor.
That's literally what they taught me. It's like, don't
learned
do this.
that.
This is we're gonna break you down so that you can get down to your basic self, and then we're gonna make you stop wanting to be an actor. That's their
that's their model.
That's how they do it.
Yeah.
So I left college.
Yeah.
With a piece of paper that said I knew how to act. And
but they told you.
And no interest at all in acting ever again. I was like, I hate this business. I hate these people. I hate what this is about. I want nothing to do with arts.
All
everything.
Of it. Yeah.
And I did. It completely destroyed my desire to do any of that stuff at all.
Yeah.
So I then spent the next 2 years drunk.
Yes. Yeah. Sounds about right.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah, sure.
I had as many parties as I could possibly have.
Okay.
I spent most of the time upside down over a keg.
Love it.
I tried all the different liquors.
Don't do this, kids, until you're of legal age.
I was in horrible shape. I would go through a 12-pack of beers in a night, and that was like a Tuesday for fun, just because we're hanging out.
Yeah, why not?
And then the weekends was just like, let's see how obliterated I could get.
You were learning yourself.
I was learning myself.
Yes.
It was an odd, messed up time in my life.
Yeah.
And then I met a girl. And I thought to myself, oh, Jesus, I can't keep living like this.
Yeah.
I got to start paying attention.
Yeah.
This chick's serious. She might actually want me to make something of myself.
Yeah.
And then
you met Talia after that.
And then I met Talia. And then she dumped me. No, it was Talia.
It was Talia.
And so then I started taking life seriously. And then I got really interested in other stuff. That's when I actually got interested in things, and I started reading.
Yeah.
And then from that point, I went from an idiot, literal moron.
Yeah.
I could use a word I'm not allowed to use. I was so dumb.
Right.
To okay. could understand a couple of three things.
Yes.
So, longest story possible short.
No, this is shorter than the bathroom story from last week.
That's true. Sometimes a question will come along, and I'll think back to biology class, and I'll go, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah. So then I'll have to read into it. And later on we're going to get very much into this topic.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a very sciencey episode.
Sciencey episode. Sciencey episode.
Yeah, it is.
It's good stuff, which I have a little bit of knowledge about, but not nearly enough to be an expert on the topic at all.
Look, I reached out to you for help on this one because when we dug in. But before we get there, I was going to say, we both went into acting programs, and I think that we were just wild Mustangs, and they couldn't tame us.
Could not tame.
They could not tame us. They were
wild
like,
Mustang legs.
They tried to break our spirits, but the truth is, the greatest piece of acting advice I ever got was before I even went to college and tried to study in an acting program. And I met this guy. He was the drama teacher at Wheaton College, and I sat down with him because I was browsing all these other schools. And he goes, let me tell you something. And he was like the head of the drama department at Wheaton. Yeah. And he goes, if you could spend a year or, however many years at Juilliard studying with the finest actors in the world, or you could go spend a year abroad in China, the year abroad in China would make you a better actor.
Yeah, I think he's right.
Yeah. And he was right. Yeah. And so the truth was, you go to these programs, you go to these schools, and they teach you to hate the art and because they're trying to.
They make it so significant. It's all very important.
Exactly. But you find out you left that, you got drunk for a couple years. I did too, and then you fall in love, and then you learn, and then all of a sudden you really appreciate things so much more. Well, if you're going to perform a character, that should be somebody who appreciates existence in general, for the most part, much more than you did when you were spacing out in school. So I think that.
I think I became a better actor from being drunk for 2 years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I still use that method to this day.
No, really though. Just because of the amount of you become so social. Yeah. And you're always wanting to be around people when you're living like that. Yeah. And that's acting. That's what it is. It's observation. It's seeing what I had no idea we were doing an acting podcast.
Yeah. This is Behind the Actors Studio with Noel and Jacob today.
It is so much about observation. It's about can you see what people are doing and then kind of dig into why they're doing that. Yeah. And then what is it about that could be interesting? And then you may never use it, but you file it away. Yeah. And then at some point you're playing a role, and there's something about the way the scene is playing out. You go, okay, it'd be interesting if this character had that thing that you remember from 5 years ago. Yeah. Like if they had that, then it would add this whole other dimension to this scene, and that could be really interesting.
Agreed.
And then you put that in there, and then you try it out, and then if you've got a good acting partner with you on the other side, and often you do, because usually people don't get the role unless they kind of have an idea of what they're doing. Right. Then they play off of that, and then you get this. Then it's magic. It's fun. It's magic. It's electric.
It's wonderful. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. I wanted to share because we have similar histories there and whatnot. We've worked together a lot. So anyway, but we will dive into the Biofriendly podcast.
I did learn in college. Yeah. And just to be fair to a lot of the professors I did not prefer. Yeah. But there were a few who were dadgum geniuses who were really, really good at what they did. So I don't want to poo-poo the experience too much.
Oh, I agree.
Even though I really do want to poo-poo the experience. Yeah. And I don't recommend it for anyone. Yeah. So I just poo-pooed the experience. Anyways, I did learn how there are some technical things you need to know to truly nail things like Shakespeare.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Or classical, truly deep classical, like Greek plays.
Yeah,
right?
That stuff's important.
There's just some technical knowledge you need in order to even do it.
Yeah.
So I did learn that, and that helped a lot because that enables you to play a whole array of characters. Yeah. In classical plays, which can be a lot of fun too.
Absolutely.
So that's the upside to going to a school like that.
Well, and I would say before we move on to our subject, and this is tangential but worth it.
But worth it.
But my one of my dear friends who went to a good acting program, they do exist. They do exist. And a lot of students luck out and they go to these programs, these acting schools or departments at universities, and they're just blessed with like a really dynamite group of people and fellow actors, and they leave more inspired than when they came in. And he said to me,
there are also good acting schools just that aren't even in colleges,
yes,
that are just schools
programs
around LA and New York.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
and so
sorry.
I think that he was saying to me, I really wish you had gone to a different school or had a different experience, because I don't think it would have you would have left with as bad of a taste in your mouth. I just think that some of us didn't get. My department specifically, they fired and like the head left right before we all got there. So it was kind of a dismantled, broken program when I got there. So
I was also in a transitionary period.
yeah. So I think, but look where we are to this day and what we did together and where we are. Obviously, it was for a reason. You know, I just think that all the things that I didn't get out of that acting program that made me leave. I met my wife in college. There's so many reasons why I was supposed to be at that place and that time and figure things out the way I was. And so it was a bummer as it was happening, but now I'm like, it's kind of all part of the complex puzzle that is my life. You know?
Yeah, it's just how it goes.
It's just how it goes.
It's all predetermined.
It's all.
We have no choice.
Just the truth is, Apple. Back to the point. Apple has decided where our life is going, and we have no say. No, but we'll dig in now. We'll dig in now. All right,
Okay.
we'll dig in. So this is a subject. Hi, Veronica. We haven't even said hi yet. Tell us about your acting
Veronica
experience.
fell asleep back there.
Yeah, no, she's like, she didn't know James Lipton took over. But you tell us about your acting program experience that when you were studying.
I wish I was in an acting program.
Yeah.
I've been told I should act.
Oh, you've got it.
I've been told that a lot.
You're dynamite.
Like, what?
Dynamite. Yeah.
So
Be great.
that's interesting that I hear these stories from you guys, because imagine I would have gone through that. That would have been amazing.
Right.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
You'd have crushed.
Crushed it.
You'd have crushed. Well, you're very outgoing, right?
Yeah.
Very, in my opinion, I don't want to tell you what you are, but you seem extroverted to me. Like you're like very much an extrovert. Like you like to get out and talk to people and make friends and smile, and you're bright and you're wonderful and all those things, which is helpful, I think, if you want to get into that industry. So what I'm saying is quit. Go be
Go. There's a great program right across the street. Yeah, you're doing good.
Which program was a good one, by the way, for the listeners that your friend went to?
Oh, University of Evansville in Indiana. He had a wonderful experience there. He had a great program.
Nobody told us that Evansville was the best one.
I had no idea this whole time. But you're doing well.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to dig into this. So I saw the first article, and this is one of those articles that it was a cool story, and then it took me down the rabbit hole. And when I got down the rabbit hole, I said, I'm lost. Noel, I need some help. But we're going to start with where I
got lost.
And then he
and
got
now
lost.
We're both stuck.
And now we're talking about acting.
Now we're in the middle of nowhere. We have no idea where we are.
Talking about our university programs. No, so this article, the title was Researchers Use X-Rays to Turn Plastic into Diamonds. Seriously, that's what it says. This was off of Green Matters, which is a cool website. It said, in efforts to create more ethically sourced options in the diamond market, lab-grown diamonds have been on the rise in recent years. We all know that diamonds are a girl's best friend, but they tend to not be our planet's the best friend, because there's a lot of methods in getting them that aren't that ethical or great, right?
Yeah,
there's a lot of diamond
like
mining
bachelor
problems.
parties.
Bachelor parties, exactly. So there's obviously been a lot of people coming out with like ethically treated workers, or, these are alternate lab-grown diamonds. But this is something different. And so it said, a new way of creating diamonds in lab by using laser beams, which any story that says laser beams.
We're using lasers.
Laser beams.
We're in.
To recycle plastic into diamonds, more specifically, nano diamonds. So it goes on to talk about this process. Okay, so I'm going to just talk a little bit about the process. Mm-hmm. And they got inspired because this was from space, okay? Mm-hmm. For this study, the researchers were inspired by ice giants, including Neptune and Uranus. Not Uranus.
That reminds me of a diamond joke, but we'll do that later.
Okay. Where extreme weather conditions can lead to diamonds raining down from the sky. I actually didn't know that. So Neptune and Uranus, there are certain weather conditions that diamonds will come down. So there's like De Beers right now is on a rocket, just like, we got to go get those diamonds. This was first proposed ahead of the 1977 Voyager 2 mission, according to Space.com. So the same group of researchers first published a study on this topic. Oh, I'm getting into too much of the different stuff here, but The researchers investigated a stoichiometric mixture of carbon and water by shock compressing PET, polyethylene terephthalate. You get it.
Keep rocking.
Plastics using X-ray probing. PET plastic is a fairly recyclable clear plastic known by the resin code plastic number 1, and it is used to make things like single-use drink bottles, peanut butter jars, and soap bottles. But by using different X-ray technologies, they found that oxygen is what helps form diamond precipitation. And most notably, the researchers believe that conducting laser-driven shock compression on PET plastics could produce nanodiamonds. So at first, I was like, this is such a cool story about, trying to find ways to use plastic, specifically PET, number 1, and turning it into diamonds. And I thought, I hope people go for this, because I think this would be a really cool way to repurpose something that we already, like diamonds as they are quite ornamental. It's like what we use them for in jewelry and on things. If we could find some workarounds to not have to need as many materials from the earth, that's always a good idea. And if it's using stuff like this, then I think it's really cool. So on the surface, what do you think of this whole process of turning plastics into nanodiamonds? Before we get into the second part.
So have you ever heard the joke when someone is like an uptight person? They say the guy's ass is so tight if you shoved a coal in his butt, he'd turn it into a diamond.
Yes. That's where it comes from.
All diamonds is
compressed
carbon that has been ultra pressurized.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah.
So all plastic is carbon that's been fashioned into a sheet of malleable material.
So it's relatively the same thing. It's just how you treat it.
Exactly. Just you put it under different conditions and different stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
Diamonds are actually not nearly as rare as people think they are.
Really?
They're just kind of under guard.
Right, right. Somebody just decided along the way, like, these are clearly the greatest thing.
Look, if they can rain out of the sky under certain conditions, then they're not that special. I mean, they look pretty.
Yeah.
But I actually like the current trend that's going around where women are asking for bigger diamonds and just getting them from the lab. I'm all for that.
All for that.
I don't think kids should be wasting their startup money on the largest, most expensive ring possible. I think that the two of them should be working together to think, well, what's something pretty that you like that represents how much I love you, and then let's spend that money on growing our family, getting a house, doing that stuff, and then 20 years from now, when we've put it all together, then I'm going to buy you something that you really like, and it probably won't even be a diamond,
right?
Because there's so many other precious stones that are actually kind of more valuable, a little better. They're frankly better. And they're different colors.
I love this.
How I think.
I love that. I think that's a good thing to tell young people, to not feel the pressure to get the most expensive diamond when you're in your 20s and you're just starting your life out, to try to spend a fortune on that.
They're falling for a marketing campaign from De Beers, right? 2 months' salary is what you're supposed to spend on a. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
A kid that age.
Yeah.
Put that 2 months' salary somewhere where it will make more money, because when you are older, you will have had time and effort and energy and experience, and you'll be making more money. You'll be in better shape. And at that point, put 2 months of that salary.
Yeah, then you'll get something really special.
Because at that point, you can afford it.
Yeah,
that 2 months of salary will be a lot, but you'll have other savings. You'll have other things. You'll be in better shape. It'll be a better ring. And your wife will have a better understanding of who she is and what she wants out of the rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
What she's looking for her ring.
Yeah.
Get her that kick-ass ring at your 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Do it then.
And I think it's always really cool when you meet somebody and their ring is got a cool backstory, or it's a very unique gem, or it's something different, or it's like an inherited piece. I always think that's really special. When
the inherited piece is lucky if you
if you get it down that road, or if you choose, like, this is a kind of gem or crystal or thing that I like more than a diamond, sapphire or ruby or whatever.
Well, there's a whole like if you want to go into the hippie trail, there's a whole like spirit energy thing, right? Stones hold.
Yeah,
stones hold energy, right? Yeah. So over time, if you have an inherited stone of some kind that came from one grandparent to another down many generations, people will put that stone on and they can feel the energy of that stone depending upon how in touch you are with the,
I love that stuff. I do love that stuff. I may love science, but I also love the stuff that you can't
mystics.
the mystics you can't quite explain. So I do like that as well.
So it's, and that's kind of fun. Then you add your own energy to it. So there is something about that. But I also think, look, why does someone have to have just one ring? Like it's a good investment.
Yeah.
So and by the way, it's the same, chemically the same if you get in a lab as if it's made in Earth.
Yeah.
So you can put energy in that stone too.
Yeah.
Right?
So you're for it.
This is my point. Well, okay, so I'm for that concept. Now,
yes, I'm not. I'm going to bridge to the next.
I don't know. This is cool, but probably unnecessary.
Really?
Yeah, you can make diamonds a lot of ways.
A lot of ways, but this is one of the ways.
This is one of the ways, but really, like that. So, for instance, we
could be doing other things with recycled plastic.
You can take your dead pet.
Okay. Yes.
Get the ashes, and then have those ashes turned into a diamond.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can, absolutely.
Yeah.
Veronica
looks
like I've been saying.
horrified.
You can do that. You can, and then it has its own color, its own it's very unique. It's kind of a neat thing that people do.
Yeah.
But I think that for plastic, we're trying to edge, in my opinion, down the lane of, well, this makes like plastic use fine, and we'll just turn all the plastic into diamonds. Well, I mean, if we just had a planet covered with diamonds, I'm not sure we're that much better off.
Right. The extreme notion of it is not.
And then we've had to use a whole bunch of energy to turn. I mean, if we're using lasers to pressurize, plastic and turn it into diamonds, that's not going to be cheap. That's not going to be easy to do. That's going to be a lot of energy, which then
that's a fair point.
Means you're probably using a lot of carbon to create the energy still, because we don't invest in nuclear.
That's true.
So I think it'll end up being kind of a net negative. To be honest.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's cool.
Yeah. So I think it's a way to get rid of old plastic.
If you have a favorite piece of plastic that you've always loved, but it's no longer any good, and you want to do something with it, and somebody can turn that plastic using lasers.
This is my favorite Aquafina bottle.
Yes, into a diamond for you.
I can't live without it.
Then I think you should be able to do that. I don't think that we should turn off the technology or say no to it. I just think that
you're just saying maybe
as an overall solution for plastic problems. I think it's probably not going to fly.
Sorry. New laptop, new settings.
That's why we also sound so sweet, by the way.
We do sound so sweet. Yeah. So sweet.
Yeah. And I love lasers. I don't want this to go against lasers.
Do not shut off lasers.
I don't want to go against lasers, or even against the coolness of the concept. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool, man.
But first and foremost, this is the part of the show where I wish that we had a cam that cut to Veronica's face, because it was so funny when you were saying that
pets,
you could turn your pet into a diamond. She just was like this, and I was like, oh, it'd be so great if we had the Veronica cam that I could cut to.
The Veronica cam.
Veronica cam. Yeah. That's great. So, but what happened? Is I read this story and I was like, cool. And like I told you last week, I've been digging deeper and trying to find different alternate angles, the pros, the cons, whatnot. And that's probably why I didn't even, spend much time thinking about, maybe it's not necessary to turn recycled plastic into diamonds. Because as soon as I Googled the word nano diamond, I didn't find anything else other than that one thing about turning recycled plastic. I found an entire story about turning nuclear waste into diamonds that would be batteries that would last 20,000 years.
Yeah.
And I started watching these videos, and my head started to go, I don't know if I follow this at all. And so I literally said to Noel this morning, I said, I've got to ask your help on this, because I'm a little bit lost on how this whole thing works. And I printed out this story of this guy who said, if you don't understand, here's the most basic way of saying it. But now I'm beginning to go, where the heck did he say it? But anyway, it is...
I finished my coffee, Ronnie. I'm so sorry. Would you mind grabbing me a water? That's just so unprofessional. In the middle of the podcast,
no, it's okay. Let me give me a second here where it says... We'll read. Okay. Okay.
I'm sure it'll be interesting.
Okay.
Somebody wrote an article about it. It must be something.
Yeah, right? There it goes.
There it goes.
There it goes. Of all the promising new battery tech being worked on today, the most exciting has to be nuclear batteries.
Nuclear batteries.
Not only would such batteries potentially last dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of years, but they would also generate their own power from radiation. In the not-so-distant future, our batteries might not only outlast our phones and possibly exceed our own lifespans many times over, but they would never need to be recharged. As if the concept of nuclear batteries couldn't sound any crazier, the ones that might one day find their way into our phones and cars would actually be made of artificial nanodiamonds. To call the science behind these nanodiamonds batteries complex is an understatement, and I agree with this author here. Essentially, in the simplest terms possible, this was the part. The radioactive elements are extracted from nuclear waste and encased in diamonds using chemical vapor deposition.
Sweet.
The diamond then acts as a transducer to transform the radiation into electricity. So I watched a YouTube video where they used a cartoon and they were trying to explain it to me, and it's this company called NDB, which whenever I see it, I always think of NBD as no big deal. So when I look at them, I think they're called...
No deal big.
Exactly. That's what I think when I see it. It sounds like a company that's called... You beat me to it.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to steal it.
No, you didn't mean to. No, what's so funny is you absolutely answered what happened to my brain, which was it sounds like a guy who got the phrase wrong and goes, no deal big.
No deal big. This is going to be great technology. It is not deal big. You guys going to love it. It's like you take the diamond and you then encase a lot of radioactive material and absorb to make battery for 28,000 years.
That's exactly. No deal big. Please invest in my company.
It's no deal big.
No deal big.
It's not hard at all.
Big. Yeah. So
it is great technology, easy make. I do it myself in garage.
Yeah, so I read this thing, I watched this video, and I came into Noel and I said, so I normally like to drop the plot of our podcast on you as we go because it's fun. But I was like, sometimes I hit these things, and we may need to do this more because Noel does understand a lot of things, and it might not be a bad thing for him to know where we're headed,
particularly today.
But particularly today, know where we're headed before we get there. But I read this.
Here's the downside, though.
Okay.
Here's the downside: is that Jacob told me this morning.
Yes, I know. I dropped on you. So you had
20 minutes before we started.
You had 20 minutes to learn everything about nanodiamond battery power.
So I didn't get a lot done.
Sure,
but we're gonna struggle through it anyway. It should be hilarious, and that's the goal.
But it's so new. What you found, right? Was this doesn't necessarily even exist yet?
No, they're working on it.
Like they're trying to figure it out.
They've got some prototypes that are showing promise, and they're getting awards for the prototypes. And it looks like they're on the way.
They're on the way.
But remember, these are Australian.
Yeah, so they're living in an upside down world.
Never trust an Australian. It's rule number one.
Right, you can't.
No,
you can't.
No,
no,
don't. It's trouble.
Right.
So they're anyway, they're all Australian. You notice how they just this is so
time and time again.
It reminds me so much of the reason I'm here, that I'm in America and probably born, frankly.
Yeah.
But this is because my dad and his brothers are these
innovators.
A-holes. They are these a-holes. They're no deal big, man.
Yeah, they're no deal big. They're no deal big.
No deal big, mate.
Yeah, they just try. That's really what it is. It's like, no deal big.
No deal big, mate.
But it's
is
no
that how you
Yanks
say it? No, sorry. My dad. Yeah. My dad and his brothers are. This is them. This is what they did. They were just. That's what Aussies do. Instead of having garage bands, they have garage science.
Yeah. Right. They just fool around. They
go in there and
tinker.
they just tinker with stuff. Have you ever seen the movie Young Einstein?
Yes, of course.
Yahoo Serious.
Yes.
If anybody can get your hands on a DVD that's 30 years old,
yes,
look for Young Einstein.
Yeah.
That is the most Australian movie I have. Well, I've seen a lot
of
but it's
there's
right
a
there.
lot of Australian
Maybe
movies.
The Castle is the most Australian movie I've ever seen, but it is very close to the most Australian movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
The guy is literally in his garage splitting an atom to make bubbles for beer.
Yeah, and
that's the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
And then he goes through all of the adventures and insanity of it. Anyways.
Yes. No, it's very Australian.
That's Australians. That's what they're like. Like, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, I can figure it out.
Now, Wackers.
Yeah, right.
Let's get at it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it makes sense that they would be like, yeah, we can totally do this. We're doing it, and then say we can do it and get all the articles out.
They have the website and win the awards,
Yeah, win the
and they're
awards,
like,
but
"Where's the prototype?"
Yeah,
and
well,
they're like,
we haven't got the fully functional one yet,
Right.
but it's coming.
Yes.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It'll be there. And I'm sure they will, honestly, because it's seems like conceptually it could work. They do have, as you mentioned earlier, I mean, nuclear batteries exist. That's pretty much how they're powering a lot of stuff we use in space.
right.
With like something that just over time keeps emitting a low amount of energy forever that then is used, right?
Yeah, it's the only way to get way out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So the concept is if we could instead of having that energy just constantly wasted and leaving, let's store it somewhere where it can then kind of keep being used over time to like be able to use more power instead of like it's kind of a low level amount of power comparatively if you're using a nuclear battery. But if you were to store some of it, then you could have that low level constantly storing, and then when you needed a bigger surge, it would be there in the battery.
Right.
So that's kind of the idea, like in really
Distilled terms,
dumbass terms.
Well, which we need though, because all the material out there, you go. It's such a far out there idea in terms of like taking this type of energy and having it in a battery that's in your phone or that's in your car. They have on all these videos, they're showing you that they're saying this is where we could be headed, where we wouldn't have to mine for these materials. This would be the energy from radioactive waste,
right?
And we'd be able to turn it into batteries that it's just going to recharge itself over and over again,
right?
But again, that's a great idea, and we would love it, and it would help us with this whole transition to electric thing in a big way if we could do it.
Yeah, any way that we can store energy, and if we can actually use like radioactive waste to do it, that's even better.
Even better, because they have to store that stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's a mess. You want to be able to do that. And there's also, like, they're working on ways to create better nuclear power plants that also use radioactive waste to power those plants as well. So there's a lot of interest and energy going into that kind of tech. Which is really cool. Yeah. The funny thing that was happening when you sent me this, I was like, oh God, I got to dig into like high school biology.
And that's why we made the joke. That's why we made the joke about the beginning. Is there's a lot of stuff in here that you kind of go
like isotopes are like really cool. Like the idea that so a molecule has protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Right.
And so in the center you've got protons and neutrons that are in the middle. You've got the neutral charge or positively charged. And then to balance it on the outside, you have electrons. Right. And so the thing that's interesting is that you have, with isotopes, you have two of the same element, basically. Mm-hmm. You've got like two carbons. And if it's carbon 12, it's stable. It's got just what it needs. Mm-hmm. If it's carbon 14, then it has the same amount of protons, right? Positively charged atoms in the middle, but a different amount of neutrons, which are the neutral ones, right?
Right.
And so that makes it unstable, and so it's trying to stabilize itself. Because these guys don't like to be unstable. They want to be.
Everybody's got to match.
Yeah, well, they want to be. They don't want to be messed. They want to be solid. Like they want to be. I want to be me, baby.
Yeah, I want to be me.
I just want to be me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So a carbon 12 is like, yeah, baby, I'm me. I know who I am.
I'm good.
Carbon 14 is trying to find himself. So in the process of finding himself, carbon 14 gives off electricity. Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
The same thing happens with uranium and plutonium and different of these like
radioactive
materials, right? Yeah. Because they have a longer half-life, and so that is more easily used to create energy than something that has a shorter half-life.
Yeah.
Okay, so like that's the dumbass version. Yeah. The best I can do.
It's still very smart, kind of happening, by the way.
So. So what's kind of interesting about it is they're using that kind of that concept of having that little amount of energy that's being given off by these isotopes. Yeah. And then storing it in this diamond encased structure.
Yeah, diamond encased structure.
And that part I didn't have enough time to dig into.
No, that's fine. That's fine. No. Honestly, I don't think even if you'd spent a weekend reading up on this material. It's all such hypothetical, like this is where we could do things. And I just don't know until we actually see this existing in the world and they've announced, oh, we've actually powered a car with, these nano diamond batteries, or we now, hey, the latest iPhone is powered by nano diamond and you never need to charge it ever again.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of testing. It's going to take some time to figure it out on the marketplace. But I think that it's exciting.
It's exciting. And also it's a reminder also for the kids out there.
Yeah.
That I think that you hear about science, you hear biology, and then they throw a lot of really big words at you.
Yeah.
And it makes it kind of intimidating and frankly boring, right?
Yeah,
because you're trying to understand what these words mean instead of just what is the cool thing that I'm trying to see, right?
What's exciting about
the interesting thing about elements is that when they try to balance themselves out, because this happens all the time where they're unstable or they're searching for more, right?
Right.
They bond to each other and they make new stuff.
Right.
Like blocks in Roblox being turned into a house.
Yeah.
They make new stuff. Water doesn't exist on its own. Water exists because you have two hydrogens trying to find something to hang out with.
Yeah.
And they connect to an oxygen that happens to have just what they need.
And then you got water.
It's such a common reaction because of how just instability of some hydrogens and oxygen and the fact that they need to bond to each other. And it's so common that you get a buttload of water.
Yeah.
Right?
It's cool.
So it's actually kind of neat if you think about it that water is two of these elements
they
being
came together.
Hey, I need someone to help me. I need some love here.
Yeah.
And so they meet and they make water.
And that's the cool part about science, right? And that's the kind of stuff that, we do have a younger audience that listens and you do get overwhelmed. Like that's this technology, when I was reading about it, I was like, this is overwhelming, but you've got to just break it down and get to what's the fascinating part and how can I access this and how can I learn more about it. And I think my biggest takeaway from this was that when we were in college, we were carbon 14s and then we grew up to be carbon 12s.
Baby.
Staple.
That's what I'm saying. Don't buy the expensive ring when you're a carbon 14.
When you're a carbon 14,
wait till you're that carbon 12.
You gotta get chill, baby. You gotta get carbon 12.
You know who you are. Now you know who you are, baby. You got the cash. Your 2 month salary is even better.
You are carbon 12 all the way.
You show that lady how much you love her then.
That's right.
And she's not gonna get mad at you either because you already have the house.
Because you're carbon 12. Carbon 12 all the way, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna read real quick from note from No Deal Big. Oh, Australian, sorry.
No deal big.
There it is. They say the nano diamond battery. This is their description because I want to give them a chance to say
battery?
What it is.
Yeah. It's got to get up at the end.
Oh, sorry.
Nano diamond battery
is a high power diamond based alpha. Beta. No, I'm going to read it normal because I can't. Is
alpha beta.
Yeah. So it says is a high power diamond based alpha, beta, and neutron voltaic battery that can provide lifelong and green energy for numerous applications and overcome limitations of existing chemical batteries. The no deal big. The NDB acts like a tiny nuclear generator. The power source for the NBD. No, I said it wrong. The NDB is intermediate and high-level radioisotopes that are shielded for safety by multiple levels of synthetic diamond. So that's their science-y explanation of what this battery does. And this is everything from tiny to large or whatever. But this is innovation, and people all the time, I think, are going, well, what are we going to do? We can't rely upon this source of energy. What are we going to do about this? We can't rely upon this source of energy. But there are people working on it. Here's the really cool thing about science in the beginning of the last century. Okay.
Is that they really dug into, like, if we get how do atoms work? What is it about the basics, the fundamentals of this universe, right? Mm-hmm. And they discovered how much energy exists in these atoms, right? Mm-hmm. And they discovered how they're constantly giving off energy all the time as they do what they naturally just do.
Right.
And that if you could get into the middle of that and you could harness just some of that energy, you would have all the energy you would ever need.
Yeah.
This was the realization.
Yeah.
Okay. This was what was discovered, and this was what was exciting about about like nuclear physics, right? It's understanding that this could be done, that this was possible. And then we had the greatest war in history.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it screwed everything up.
Right.
Because people in war are worried only about winning the war. They're not worried about what is it that scientists don't want to fight wars.
Yeah.
It's not what they want to do. That's not why they got into it.
Right.
Scientists want to help mankind. They want to learn how the universe works and why. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
And then use that knowledge to try to better mankind, womankind, all kind.
Humankind.
We're trying to be better about this.
Yeah.
Humankind.
Yeah.
We grew up at a different time. I apologize, people.
We're from a different era.
Anyways, the point is, what's so neat about that is this realization is finally coming back around now, I think, probably because of us, honestly, because we talk about it all
probably
the
has
time.
to do with
we have
us,
the
about
biggest-
you and me,
We have
yeah.
the biggest environmental show, and we're talking about
absolutely.
this all the time. So it's probably our fault.
And we're making it fun.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, big time.
But the interest in nuclear energy is coming back.
Yeah.
And it is slowly but surely being embraced by the environmental community. And we can't stop that momentum. We have to keep going with it, because the whole purpose of nuclear physics was not to create bombs. That wasn't why it was done. It was done because there is an unbelievable amount of energy in these atoms, and we should be able to have all the green energy we need. We should be able to do this quite easily.
Yeah.
Really.
That's true.
We are far enough along technologically that we should figure this out. So the more people who put their minds into this idea, the better.
Yeah.
And the more people who figure out how we can do this, the better. And the more we figure out how to do it safely, the better.
Yeah.
And that only happens by spending the money and spending the time, putting in the energy.
Yeah.
And it is exciting as all hell to see this from the no deal big guys.
Yeah.
I'm totally on board.
Yes.
Even if they can't make it work, I'm glad they're trying.
They're trying. Yes, I agree. And I felt the same way when I saw it. I was like, I think Noel's going to like this. I think our audience is going to like this, because this is trying to find a way to take technology that we know works and harness it the right way. The right way. So anyway, I thought this was a cool
It's
one.
great.
It's really,
great.
really
It's
cool.
really neat. Yeah.
So that's nano diamonds, baby.
Nano diamonds,
Nano
baby.
diamonds, baby. So we're gonna wrap it right there.
Okay.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Feel good about it? How do you feel, Veronica?
Good.
Good.
Yes.
I'll get you a nano diamond.
Did your brain explode? Did we say too many? Did it
Too
make
many
sense?
sciencey words.
Just a little bit.
Little
Just like
bit.
you. It's been,
Yeah.
you know.
It's a lot.
Did it make sense?
Yeah, it did. It did.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
it did. It did.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. I needed some help on this one for sure. But anyway,
Maybe I'll start asking you what we're talking about the day before. Maybe I'll just.
Okay. All right. I'll
It's
tell you
fun.
what.
The surprise is fun.
It is fun. I'll tell you what.
If it's beefy, let me know.
If
So I
it's
have time to get
beefy,
in.
I'll bring
Yeah.
you in. And I think in the years that we've been on the podcast, I've done this a couple times, because I'll hit something and I'll go, no, I am really, this is making my head spin. And you'll come in and you'll find it out. This morning, this was one of those rare occasions where, look, it's a holiday week. We didn't have Monday. It's a short week.
It's also 7,000 degrees outside.
It's also 7,000 degrees outside. And so I found this topic at like 10 p.m. last night. I was researching online, looking for some stuff. And one of the things that I'm really challenging myself lately is to really push the subjects further. Because we've been on for so long that I'm like, I want to find some cool, interesting things to talk about. Everything from hacking tractors to, the things that we've been talking about recently because I have read the Surface article and gone, no, not good enough. We got to go deeper. And so this was one of those occasions where I was like, ooh, I want to talk about this. But then the next morning I was like, but it makes my head hurt. It's hot outside. I need help. So I will ask for your help when I can't.
Man.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So anyway, you guys, thank you for joining us this week on the Biofriendly Podcast. Make sure you subscribe, send it to your friends, tell your family, say this is the most fun podcast about the environment. These guys have a good time, and one of the hosts occasionally swears, and it's fine.
Jacob.
And of course, you can find us.
Veronica.
We're on Twitter. We're at Biofriendly. On Instagram, we're at Biofriendly Planet. On Facebook, we're at Biofriendly Planet, and we also have our Facebook group, The Painless Green. So come join us over there, where we share some fun memes and science and cool, weird video stuff. We're having fun over here. And you should join the party.
Environmentalism fun.
We do. That's why we are your beacon of light in a gloomy environment.
That's why Jacob's brain keeps rebuilding itself.
I've got this one. I've got this. Don't be environmentally gimmicky.
And that's why this guy's got bubbles.
Is it Water Socks? And featuring Todd Water Socks.
Wait, no, I can maybe figure this one out. It's a good one. This is we 3? Oh God, now I'm screwed. 3.
W.
Oh, take the W and move on.
That's it.
Or keep
Something like that.
Get back to it.
Get back to it. Take the W and
take
get
the
back.
W and get back to it.
Yeah, that one's hard because we haven't had it a lot of times.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have. Oh God, you're gonna have to just tell me what this one is.
We assume on this show.
That one still makes me laugh. We assume on this show, and then is that the end of it? Did we reach it?
Yeah, that's
We
the
did
end of
it.
it.
Oh, thank
Tell
goodness.
your friends.
Tell your friends.
That's how you grow the show, folks. That's how
Yeah.
you get this. That's how we
you do
save
it.
the planet.
Yes, that's how we do
Okay,
it.
tell your friends. You can find out about the environment, and
Yeah.
you will have fun while you do it.
Yeah. Don't tell your enemies though. Keep it secret.
They're
They don't
not going
deserve
to
it.
appreciate anyway.
They don't deserve the show.
You know what? And because I haven't done it, those guys.
You swore like 5 times on this show.
No, I said effing.
Oh.
I did effing, didn't I?
No, you said a couple other words that I have to bleep.
Really? I'm so bad.
3 times.
3 times? Yes. He
Golly.
doesn't even know.
I
Veronica.
need to act like a dad and stop swearing so much. What happened to me, Jacob? I was a gentleman.
That is a dad.
That is a dad.
That's
actually a dad.
I also sneeze really loud, which my kids tell me is a dad thing.
You are a dad in the biggest way because dads have a tendency to just let him slide, and the mom is like, "Honey," and you're like,
Yes.
"Sorry, it's just
It
getting
was the correct word for the situation.
I'm just fixing the smoker. I gotta get these words out."
A Christmas Story.
A Christmas Story.
The movie.
Yes.
With the dad who
Yes.
goes.
Yeah, that's it.
I love that movie
See,
so
that's
much.
you.
I
That's you.
love that movie so much.
Yeah, it's funny because in that scene in that movie where he swears,
Yeah.
he gets in so much trouble because of it, but he totally learned that word because of his dad.
Because of his dad.
Totally learned it from his dad.
And then blames his friend.
Yeah,
Who gets
blames
to
friend.
that? Yeah, mouth with.
Yeah.
That's good. It's
good.
Classic.
So, Veronica, do you have anything else to say before we get out of here?
Have a lovely time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Podcast. It's the Biofriendly Podcast.